All right, I think Mr. Terell Brown is here, and would y'all like to get up and address council?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. My name is Terell Brown. I'm with the Freedom's Path Development Team that is redeveloping the two buildings on the Carl Vinson VA Medical Center campus in Dublin, Georgia. And we just want to, me and Craig Taylor here. Craig Taylor is the president of Solutions for Veterans. Solutions for Veterans is the service provider for the development community. And we just wanted to come and give you an update on the Freedom's Path development, Freedom's Path Dublin, and how we can get your help to ensure that Freedom's Path Dublin is a reality for Dublin, Georgia, and all U.S. military veterans. So here's Craig Taylor.
Thank you, Terrell. Proud Marine here. Hoorah. I'm a wimpy Air Force guy, so good to be here. Let me just real quickly bring y'all up to date on where things are. We were awarded preferred developer status to redevelop the two buildings, building 34 and 35 on the campus. I know all of y'all see the broken down buildings as you drive down Veterans Boulevard. We have been delayed in doing that because that campus was nominated to be a National Historic District. And until that worked its way through the whole federal bureaucracy, the National Park Service, Department of the Interior, we could not do anything with those buildings. That was finally approved as a National Historic District in 2019 early, and then we had to go back and register those two buildings for individual listing on the National Register of Historic Places, and we got that approval about 2 months ago. So that now opens the way for us to move forward with the development. The historic credits bring a source of financing. You can get historic credits on the building. Those are then sold to an investor, and that brings in equity to the project. And so this project has two sources of funding that are being looked at. One would be the historic credit equity. The other is housing tax credits, which are administered through the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. And those are done annually, so the next round won't be until May of 2020. And so one of the options we have is to wait until May 2020, put in an application, and then we would not know until about this time next year in 2020. However, there is a way to get the commissioner of DCA to approve a set-aside for a project of significance to the citizens of the state of Georgia. And this was, it's called the General Set-Aside, and this was initiated in 2018. And in 2018, the commissioner set aside these tax credits for a project in Decatur, Georgia, 34 units being developed by the Decatur Housing Authority called Trinity Walk 3. Great, they got those units built. Then in 2019, they set aside not only credits for 2019, but credits for 2020 as well. $2 million worth of credits for a project to be developed in Underground Atlanta. Underground Atlanta has been redeveloped at least 3 times that I know of in the history, and they're trying to redevelop it again, and so there was a housing component to that, and so the state allocated $2 million worth of credits to that project. Again, great. Tourism, it's all good, you know, it brings folks to Georgia and everything. But, in our opinion, what could be a greater priority in the state of Georgia than to take care of our veterans, especially our veterans who are still struggling with some of the hidden wounds of war and are being treated right here at the Carl Vinson Center. So the idea behind this property is it's private sector developed, but it's on the VA campus. As a veteran is treated, at the VA in the domiciliary program or in the outpatient mental health program, and they are released from those programs and they have no identifiable place to go, they would be able to move into this housing right there on the campus, continue to get services through the VA, as well as be provided services with education and job development and training and personal counseling and so forth right there in the property, and have a stable living environment in which they are living with other veterans who, more than anybody else, know what it means to serve and know what it means to have made the sacrifices that they have made. And that has proven to be invaluable. We've done this in 8 other locales around the country. Chicago, Illinois, Kerrville, Texas, Vancouver, Washington, Helena, Montana, Chillicothe, Ohio, Augusta, Georgia. We're doing a second phase in Hines, Illinois. So we know what we're doing. We've been very successful doing it, and we're really excited about the prospects of being able to do it here in Dublin. But we need help, and the help we need is for the Commissioner of the Georgia Department of Community Affairs to do a general set-aside of $600,000 of housing tax credits for the Freedom's Path at Dublin project. And with that, we'll get it built and we'll start housing these deserving vets. So thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council, for the opportunity. I'm certainly willing to answer any questions if anybody has.
How many units are we looking at?
It would be 50 units, 44 in the 2 historic buildings, and those would all be studio apartments for one person. And then we would build one 6-unit building, new construction behind Building 35, between the building and where the cars are parked there for inpatient at the VA center. And that would be 2-bedroom units, and that would be for veterans with a child. And that's with more and more women veterans serving, what we're finding is that there is about 10% of all the vets that we serve are female, and it becomes extremely problematic if they have a child. Where do you find housing? So we want to segregate it from the other property. In that sense, we want to have a separate building that we can secure and so forth, that they can work with each other and, help with child care and parenting and all those kinds of things, and build that kind of collegiality as well in that community. So 50 units.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know when we toured the facility before, outside of the financial concerns that you were mentioning, did we get past the other hurdles that was holding us up at that time?
Yes, sir. It gets all complicated and everything. The buildings are in bad shape. They have environmental problems. Because they are being renovated to the National Park Service Historic Preservation Standards, there are fairly high levels of requirements in terms of renovating the property, which makes it very expensive to do. And if we're going to preserve those buildings and we're going to do this, we just have to do that. But we've identified all of those issues, we've cost out the project, and we've identified how to finance it. We just need to get, the final piece is getting that allocation of tax credits, and we'll go from there and get it done. But yes, sir, we've solved for all the other problems.
Thank y'all very much. It's, I tell you, it's a great project. We wish you much success. I think Trustee Nuns is at least listening to you.
Yes, sir, and we thank you for your support.